Venezuela's President Nicolas Maduro has been declared winner of Sunday's election.
Who is Venezuela's leader?
Crisis in Venezuela.
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 Not long ago, Venezuela was the richest country in South America. It has held some of the largest oil reserves in the world.
President Jimenez opened a new school, one of the many under construction, and all being built under an improvement plan financed by ever-growing oil exports. Today, Venezuela is the second largest oil-producing country, and as slum dwellings make way for towering new housing projects, Caracas presents a study in civic progress and the Western way of life.
Yet in the past few years, Venezuela's economy has collapsed. The country is stricken with poverty and violence, and it's in the midst of a humanitarian crisis.
Hugo Chavez, the country's former socialist leader for 25 years, made many social programs to decrease the wealth gap. This made him very well liked by the population. The one problem was that his policies assumed that the price of oil would continue rising. When Chavez died in 2013, the price of oil plummeted as well, and his replacement, Nicolas Maduro, has done a poor job at neutralizing the damages. It has gotten to the point where the inflation rate is projected to reach 10 million% in 2019, which has forced nearly 9% of the population to flee Venezuela.
Venezuelans are now the largest group by nationality seeking asylum in the U.S.
Maduro has used multiple power grabs in order to stay in office.
Convoco al poder constituyente originario. Convoque una asamblea nacional constituyente.
In early 2018, Venezuela held presidential elections, which Nicolas Maduro won. However, to the dismay of much of the international community,
The White House has called Maduro's re-election a sham.
14 Latin American countries do not recognize the result.
and the estimated 80% of the Venezuelan population who aren't in support of Maduro, there are strong suspicions that the election was rigged. Juan Guaido, the leader of the opposition party, has said that what Maduro did was illegal and has called himself the interim president.
Como el presidente encargado de Venezuela.
This has caused a civil war within the country, resulting in casualties and violence. There have been nonviolent protests led by Guaido to express their disapproval towards Maduro. Though these events have simply been organized through social media, Maduro still dispatches the military, one of the only groups that supports him, to break up these protests. The military has injured protesters by use of force as well as chemical gas, which has caused protesters to resolve to throwing pebbles at the military.
In the mornings, Guaido and his team send out their agendas for the day on Twitter, Instagram, and WhatsApp to spread the word to the citizens of Venezuela. They are also expanding their reach to the slums of Caracas and promoting the use of social media in areas where it is not used. Maduro has responded to Guaido's tactics of social organizing by causing internet blockouts and nationwide blackouts during protests and rallies. It appears that the Venezuelan civil war is being fought on both the streets and the internet.
Earlier this week, Nicolas Maduro and Juan Guaido met in Oslo, Norway, to try and reach an agreement similar to how Colombia made strides in the right direction after 50 years of war. Though, in the end, the two Venezuelans couldn't reach any agreement. As a result, Guaido has motioned for Venezuelans to take the streets again in new anti-government demonstrations to add more pressure on Maduro. Although Guaido and Maduro could not reach any agreement in Norway, it seems promising that Guaido's nonviolent protests and social media movement will be successful in the future.
La lucha venezolana ha sido años de sacrificio, de construcción de mayoría, de movilización ciudadana, de lucha no violenta, de reivindicaciones sociales, de reivindicaciones políticas, de muchos elementos. De minimizarla a un elemento de presión externa de un país u otro sería minimizar nuestra lucha, nuestras ganas y determinación de ser libres.